Welcome to the Harbinger Analysis Series, where I'll be theorizing and discussing the upcoming Harbingers and their potential roles in the grander scheme of Genshin's story. For the previous parts, we discussed Sandrone and Capitano's place, and now, let's discuss Pantalone, the regrator. Disclaimer, none of the information here is indicative of the final product, and I also won't be including leaks of Pantalone in this analysis. But to be fair, Twitter hasn't bombarded me with any leaks about him, so Anyway, before I begin, thank you to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Opera GX is the first ever browser built specifically for gamers, with all its features that make your browsing experience smooth, personalized, and quick. As someone that likes researching Genshin stuff, or spending copious times on scribble.io, I'm sorry. I like to make sure that my browser is clean and organized, so I use Opera GX's workspaces to make sure that all of my non-suspicious tabs are filed properly. And even if you have rogue data or browsing history, which I'm sure you have, you can use the GX Cleaner to clean caches, bookmarks, tabs, and cookies. Opera GX also lets you customize your themes and color palettes. They also got all sorts of animated wallpapers that you can use, or you can upload your own wallpaper. It's up to you. And last but definitely not the least, Opera GX comes with a forced dark mode. Websites that don't have a built-in dark mode be damned, Opera GX has you covered. Opera GX is honestly a really good browser if you want to have versatility. While it is a gaming browser, they basically go above and beyond with other features that really make it a browser for everyone. So download Opera GX with the link in the description, and thank you to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. I feel like it's pretty ironic that I'm talking about a Harbinger that's all about money and having a paid sponsor in the video, but anyway, let's begin with the who and what Pantalone is and what we currently know about him. Pantalone is the ninth Harbinger known as the regrator. According to Collins' dictionary, a regrator is the middleman who introduces goods into a market, or for a much more malevolent meaning, a person who regrets or buys up commodities in advance and sells them for a higher price, especially during a crisis. And this definitely matches Pantalone's description and role in the Fatui. Pantalone is a business mastermind and definitely knows his way around his money. Unlike the other Harbingers that we've fought in the series that have a more or less conventional power set when we say they're strong, Pantalone's power manifests in his intelligence in controlling the most important aspect of Genshin's universe: capitalism. Yes, money may not buy happiness, but it does buy good drip and a bunch of illegal weaponry that can be used to massacre the masses. Close enough. Uncle Tien describes Pantalone as a man who has a unique concept of wealth and understands it in a way beyond the conventional meaning of just currency. Pantalone further supports this by saying that the real currency of the Northland Bank is blood and tears, suggesting that he understands not only how money is made, but how it can provide power on a social scale. Fascinatingly enough, Pantalone is actually one of the earliest Harbingers that we get a full character story of. Pantalone was first introduced to us in 1.0 through several mentions. The Goth Hotel in Mondstadt was rented out for the Fatui use by Pantalone. Andre mentions that Pantalone's brilliance and foresight deserves the credit for Snezhnaya's booming economy. Tartaglia further describes him as keeping his cash reserves in stock, and it's hinted in the Lazzo that he handles the operations of the Northland Bank. But he might not completely be the only one managing the banks, since in Sumeru, there's a Northland Bank notice that says that if there's any business to be done, contact Victor. But Victor is under Pulcinella's orders, not Pantalone's. But for his shadier practices, he's also known for targeting important figures or monopolies that could influence a nation's market. In Mondstadt, there's an agent of Pantalone called Landa, who was assigned to infiltrate and survey the state of Mondstadt's wine industry. And in Liyue, Pantalone has a secret trade route that was holding strange and exotic goods according to Yelan's story. Furthermore, the Fatui tried to interfere with the Tianshu selection process, and Pantalone was involved. Wander and Tartaglia also say that he's a man with grandiose plans and near-delusional tendencies, with Wander commenting that anyone who tries to partner with Dottore is questionable. Though Wander does say that there's something impressive about his abilities or choice of partner. Now we dive into Pantalone as a character. Wander states that Pantalone is obsessed with overthrowing the natural imbalance between gods and humans to the point he's delusional. Tartaglia states that he's also theory-driven and is fueled by raw ambition. And all of these delusional tendencies and strong devotion to his craft could be fueled by his motivations and his backstory. According to the Moment of Cessation, Pantalone was destitute prior to his joining of the Fatui. He was not one of the favored, and could only pursue worldly power. But what made him angry was that despite the gods never needing money, they dare take it away from those that do, along with other forms of power that they wield. Perhaps that fact that the gods had never looked upon him with favor ignited a burning desire for resistance inside him. His oath to the Harbingers, and by extension Snezhnaya, was to be the heart that pumps money around the world, establishing the goal that Pantalone would work forever to accomplish. As such, he worked his hardest as a regular mortal to establish Snezhnaya as the economic powerhouse that it is now, and most likely upholds his name as the regrator, by actively manipulating the market as he sees fit. But money isn't really the only thing that Pantalone is after. He's after the concept of power as an entirety. Money is just a means to an end. But for us to continue understanding Pantalone, maybe we can check the source material and inspiration that created him. The Harbingers are based off the Commedia dell'arte, a form of Italian theater that has its actors and actresses wearing masks and improvise to create a lazzo. The main star of the shows are stock characters that each represent a crucial echelon in society, that of which witty jokes and commentary are derived from. And Pantalone is no exception. Pantalone from the Commedia is known as the Greedy Merchant, and his full name is Pantalone de Bisognosi, or Pantalone of the Needy. The entire character is based on the haughty, old, greedy, rich upper class that generally believes money is the end-all be-all. Another cool fun fact about Pantalone is that he and Dottore are comic foils or partners depending on the situation, a theme adopted in their Genshin counterparts. Pantalone from the Commedia also sometimes has stories with Arlecchino, considering Arlecchino would sometimes be portrayed as Pantalone's servant. From an analytical perspective, unlike Capitano and Sandrone as we currently know them, Pantalone is actually pretty faithful to the themes presented in his Commedia counterpart. He doesn't really sway away from the theme of greedy merchant, but there are small details that could further define Pantalone's personality. Pantalone from the Commedia is seen as never forgetting a deal, and his merit is based on actions, and he neither forgives nor forgets even the smallest of things. This could be manifested through the regrator's quote from the moment of cessation, in which he creates a contract with the Fatui and swears complete loyalty with deadly efficiency. But now we move on with my speculations about the power sets, his future actions, and what in the world he can contribute to the story. So let's begin. Number 1 is that Pantalone will not be a main harbinger to fight in any of the regions. As funny as it is to think of the banker fighting us like how the IRS tracks down tax evaders, I don't think Pantalone is completely interested in going head-to-head with someone that has defeated both the 11th and the 8th. Not to mention, he won't really have much to gain from this exchange. Pantalone is a businessman intent on keeping money flowing, and there is really nothing to gain from his end to actively go against the traveler. If anything, his personality entails him to be a kind of chess player, someone that would rather send his minions to do the work for him and intelligently leave the battlefield before any real repercussions. He was never really depicted in lore as a fighter unlike Tartaglia, so I can't see him actively wish to participate in combat, but I highly doubt that he is incapable, which brings me to my next speculation about his partnership with Dottore. I speculate that Pantalone's deeper power comes from his shadier business practices, and could also be in dealing with illegal weaponry and other questionable scientific projects. A part of me thinks that Pantalone's partnership with Dottore has something to do with both of their motivations being along the lines of testing the limitations set by gods. Dottore being his experiments on creating something greater than God, and Pantalone wanting to challenge the natural power imbalance between the two. The both of them together could be motivated by creating more insane weaponry, or divine and borderline blasphemous technology that could make people stronger than gods. Remember in Inazuma where Scaramouche says that they're planning to establish a demand for the delusions and create a black market? I feel like Pantalone and Dottore would also have a part to play in that kind of thing. It also helps that both him and Dottore are intelligent, with Pantalone having constant grandiose plans and theories that Dottore could very well execute proficiently with the right resources. It's that strange symbiotic relationship between both of them that I really want to see. Number 3 is that Pantalone has a geodelusion, no vision, but has several augments courtesy of Dottore. The Harbingers are each known to be empowered by several augments, each bestowed by the Tsaritsa according to Victor, who may or may not be a credible source, or by each other courtesy of their own power sets, or Dottore. Pantalone being Dottore's partner could potentially lead to an augment or two just for the sake of keeping Harbinger prestige above regular mortals. Not to mention, Pantalone also has a fascination for power as an overall concept, almost to the same degree as Tartaglia, just with different motivations. Though, a part of me thinks that Pantalone has a geo-delusion, just to keep in line with his connection to Mora and contract to the Fatui, if we're really required to give him a delusion. Number 4 is that he's either Liyuan or Snezhnayan. When it comes to the topic of place of origin, the best comment to think of is Arlecchino's rebuttal towards Pulcinella and Pantalone for being in the comfort of their homeland despite Rosalind's death, which would suggest that Pantalone is Snezhnayan. Though a good counter-argument to that is that the word homeland is just a way to represent Snezhnaya as a Harbinger's new home and where their loyalty lies, similar to motherland. So if I were to think of it this way, my next speculation is that Pantalone is from Liyue. Liyue is the land reference in his moment of cessation, and he vows his oath to the Fatui in regard to the land where these coins hail from. There was never any real concrete information though that Liyue was his home, but a character revolving around money not being from the land of commerce would be a shame. And last but certainly not the least is number 5. Wander's claim that Pantalone is an ordinary mortal is misleading. When you see the words ordinary mortal and harbinger, the point of reference should always be Tartaglia, since he's the character we know the most about who still retains a good level of normalcy, yet is anything but a regular mortal. And I feel like that's the case with Pantalone. Pantalone's 9th rank could easily just be because he has a higher prestige in Tartaglia in terms of holding economic sectors, but I really wonder if he really is just a regular banker. I feel like he still has something much more divine hidden up his sleeve. That Wander's claim about him having nothing to write home about was a red herring. Or, better yet, was said in relation to Scaramouche's own feats. But I don't think we should dismiss Pantalone's character entirely as weak in general. Venti does refer to the Harbingers as being on a different league altogether, and for as militaristic as the Fatui are, I don't doubt it's a given prerequisite not only for protection, but also to command authority from their subordinates that the Harbingers are physically stronger than your average Sevatian citizen. So the real question is, what could he have, and will we ever see it in-game? But that's it for me today. I like Pantalone because he's not really meant to be in the forefront of anything. He's a background character that is in charge of a really important sector of the Fatui. Money talks after all. Anyway, thank you to Opera Jex for sponsoring this video, and thank you to all of you for chilling with me.